Hello, my name is Jackie Kirkup. Welcome to Spotlight on Souris. Today is Thursday, May the 8th, 2025. I have with me Manon from the Community Gardens here in Souris, and she has some exciting things to tell us about the upcoming gardening year. So take it away.
I was actually just down at the gardens tonight. Every Thursday night at 6:30 we have our work parties, which everyone is welcome to. Not only do they serve as an opportunity to volunteer and help us maintain the grounds and the gardens, but there's always learning opportunities because we always have senior gardeners there and they'll talk about what they're doing. For instance, tonight we did some mulching of the garlic. It looks like it's going to be a drier year.
Yes.
So we covered them in straw and that helps keep weeds down and help keep moisture
Right.
in.
And maybe the pesky deer that we're starting to nibble a little bit.
Yeah, deer aren't supposed to bother garlic, but they sure are. Which brings me to the next exciting news. We're getting a fence, a real permanent fence, an 8-foot game fence. PWR Custom Fencing out by Verdun has sourced some 8-foot fencing for us, which is incredible. I tried a couple other businesses and they just didn't have quite the height we needed.
Right.
They tried to tell me that 6 feet would be good enough for deer,
Oh.
and I told them that they hadn't met Souris deer, and that if I could, I would have 10 feet.
Yes.
Just because of how tenacious they are. Last year we had some break-ins. They charged right through the netting, and we were able to repair. And we didn't lose any plants. We did get plants that were severely stunted and bit down. So the harvest was really delayed, like the beans were really behind and stuff. But last year it did work out. We had a great season. But this year I am very excited. This fence is rated to last 15 to 20 years.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so it should be that headache out of my mind
Yes.
for the next at least a decade.
No more deer.
No more deer, which is really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I just was recently down at the gardens with you, and you were just explaining the plots and that they're all sold this year or all have memberships.
Yes.
So that's amazing and exciting.
Yeah, this year we're going to have 24 members, which is quite a few more than last year. We've expanded the number of plots we have. And everyone who applied got one, but we had everyone put in their applications within, I think, the first 2 weeks of us throwing that survey. I was going to make the cutoff, May 5th or something, but they all went. So everyone who applied got a plot, which is great.
Wonderful news.
It worked out perfectly. Yeah. Exactly the right amount of people applied. We had, everyone who wanted a raised bed got a raised bed.
Good.
Everyone who wanted an in-ground plot got an in-ground plot. So that's wonderful. We have, I think, 7 10 by 20 plots.
Okay.
And 8 5 by 20 plots, and then the 5 4 by 8 raised beds, and then the sitting beds.
Wow. You were showing me at the garden, there's a divide.
Yes.
Where there's the members' plots, and then it looks like quite a large area of kind of open gardening, I guess I could say. You, the members, or yourself, you plant in there, and then people can come.
Yes.
And
so,
harvest.
Right from the beginning, our board was really passionate about. We wanted to be clear about what our goals are, and our goals are not to, make the maximum amount of money we can. It's not to even make the maximum amount of produce we can. It's to make gardening accessible and make more food accessible.
Yes.
I said last year, this all came just because I'm so angry about grocery prices, and it seems so unfair that in one of the most beautiful fertile lands of the earth, they want me to pay $7 for this many raspberries.
Yes.
So I'm really excited. So there is a wider path that divides the gardens, and everything to the west of that is 2 large free for harvest plots. And so we're looking for donations. We've already received seed potatoes.
Oh, yes.
And so people are going to have their choice between russets, red potatoes, and gold potatoes. Yeah. We have some seeds, but we're looking for more donations. Or transplants, if people are going to have those coming up. We've got lots of tomato, I believe. We've got lots of herbs, but we don't have much else other than the potatoes right now.
Right, so like more vegetables.
Yeah.
Like you would need carrots,
Beets, corn, peas.
And you're looking for seed.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes. Last year, we did a lot of learning. Our members and the public were so patient with us. All of the carrots and beets went before they were longer than a finger.
Yes,
Everyone
yeah.
was so excited. So this year we're going to plant more and of the things that went quickly last year.
Right.
And hope to kind of tailor our community gardens to what this community
Okay.
likes and will use.
Yes.
For instance, last year we had about 50 feet more lettuce than we needed.
Oh, okay.
We had so much
Maybe
lettuce.
that's why the deer were always
It was
coming in
insane.
there.
So we're looking to streamline our planning a little bit and have some better pads. And last year, our grant from Prairie Mountain Health's Healthy Together Now had a section for fencing, for signage.
Oh.
And that was one of the major feedbacks we received from the public, and we also knew that. Clearer signage in the gardens was going to help a lot of things
Right.
flow more. So, I talked about all the baby carrots being snatched up when they were like, not even toddler carrots. We have little placards now that we're going to be using. So one says, wait to harvest me, I'm not ready, and it has a red square, and we'll stick it on the row.
Yep.
And then there'll be green ones that say, I'm ready, take me home, and our volunteers will kind of monitor that. So it's
Okay.
going to be a little bit easier to use the community side this year, we hope.
Right.
We're going to be down there for the next 3 weekends here and there doing planting. We really invite people to drop by, to watch our Facebook, and come join us in the planting. It's been a really lovely season already. Jim Ludlam did our tilling again without even me asking him. He just came up one day and he
That's
was
Jim.
like, "Are you ready to have it tilled?" And I said, "Well, I won't say no." And then I thought he'd phone me or something, and I go down to the gardens and it's already all beautifully tilled. And
Wow.
he said that this year, the ground was so much easier to work, and
Okay.
thanks to all the manure and all the soil building that we did last year, it's in really good shape. So there's a nice
that's
seed
great.
bed. It's beautiful,
Yeah,
and it's
very
ready
nice.
to go. So
Are the daycare, are they getting ready to plant in their section this year too?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the daycare. We did our maple tapping a few weeks ago, and it was really quite precious. We managed to, some of it was luck, some of it was choice, but we picked exactly the right tree where the sun was hitting it and the sap was flowing really well. So when they stuck the tap in, it was actually flowing out.
Yeah.
And so we've got some really cute pictures of
Oh,
the
I
kids
bet
with
you do.
with their heads just under the tap, and you can taste that it's sweet, right? So it was really fun and really special. So I've got quite a bit of daycare programming planned this year. But yeah, there'll be one of their beds is nothing but strawberries. And
Of
then
course.
The rest will, yeah.
I might have to go and help myself to some of their strawberries.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's what's up with the
Wow,
daycare.
you're so busy already with the garden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's just gearing up. We're waiting to hear back on several grants. I applied for like $32,000 worth of a Arctic growing dome.
Oh, wow.
So there's a geodesic growing dome that's designed for off-grid Arctic living, and because
Okay.
of the dome shape, it's way less risk for high winds that Manitoba receives
Yes.
than your traditional greenhouse, but it is quite pricey. So I'm not sure that we'll get that grant, but we've applied.
Okay.
We've been very, very fortunate so far. We were counting our pennies and scrambling to figure out how we were going to make this fence, because the fence is 10.5 grand.
Wow.
But that's going to be for the next 15 to 20 years,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
So I was like, great. So we were really struggling to, how can we fundraise between now and then? How can we get deals? How can we, maybe if we drill the holes? And my one of my friends at Western Financial sent me
Kayla.
an email. Kayla
Yes.
sent me an email, and she said, "Oh, they're looking for grant applicants." And I said, "Sure." And I took a break from the other grant I was writing, and I
Yep.
banged out a paragraph and sent it away, and I didn't think anything of it. And then 2 days later, she calls me and she says, "Great, when can you meet up for a check?" And so that solved all our problems. And so Prairie Hills Insurance is kind of like the daddy insurance that covers Western Financial and all these things, from what I understand. And they have a grant called Hometown Turnaround. And so they were incredible. Jocelyn came out representing them and handed us over $5,000, and it was that
Yes.
simple.
Yeah,
So,
amazing.
Incredible. That took all the stress
Oh, I bet.
off the fence.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much $5,000 can brighten your day. And then the Legion was incredibly generous as well. They approached me and said, we'd like you to write a proposal about what you guys need. And so I asked them to fund our irrigation, because those are the two main pieces that we
Right.
identified for the overall success of this project.
Yes.
And the accessibility, and keeping with our goals of keeping it accessible, we needed a fence and we needed irrigation. So they, again, very generously handed us $2,500. And so we're going to have our own pump. We're going to
Wow.
have drip lines.
Yep.
Last year, another one big piece of the feedback that we got, which I knew was going to happen, is that the raised beds dry out quite quickly.
Oh, yes.
They're exposed to the southern sun,
Oh,
and,
for
and
sure.
we had people who were watering like in the morning and then at night to try and keep their plants alive. And it was really difficult. So this year, having irrigation, if we get drip lines in there, that'll make all the difference.
Wouldn't it?
And
Yes.
it will mean that people don't have to be hauling around watering
Yeah.
cans. It means they can just enjoy their gardens and like weed
Yes.
a bit and
Yeah.
harvest and yeah.
And watch it grow. You were telling me too, this coming Saturday, there's an event that
Yes.
you've organized.
When I lived in Portage, the library used to host a plant swap. And similar to with groceries, I get
Right.
mad about how
Yep.
expensive houseplants are.
Yes.
So I'm incredibly thrifty that way, and I figure we can all trade. So
Great idea. I don't
So-
ever recall something like this happening before.
every year in Portage, what we did is so it's going to be May 10th, and it's going to be at the library starting at 2 p.m. And basically, you can take whatever you bring. So when I
Okay.
used to run this, I would have different colored tickets. One would be for large plants, one would be for medium,
Okay.
one would be for small,
Yeah.
one would be for cuttings.
Okay.
Right? So say you bring 2 large plants and a cutting, you get 2 large plant tickets and a cutting ticket. And then
Okay.
they're all laid out. So after, everyone's had half an hour to show up and bring their plants.
Yes.
They're all put out on tables.
Okay.
And then you can go and shop with your
With
coupons.
your tickets. Oh, I like it. Oh, good.
Any that are left over previously, like in Portage, the library just took them.
Okay.
And grew them, and then they had a free source of plants
Yes.
kind of every
Yeah.
year to revitalize. And I talked to the library, and they said they're interested in some more plants. So
Okay.
if there are any extras,
They have a great window.
they have a great
Don't they?
window.
Yeah, face that south. They will.
They could probably grow like citrus and stuff in there if they wanted to.
You might be onto something.
Well, with that geodesic growing dome, so it's year-round growing.
Okay.
So it's designed so that you can grow year-round, and it would be my dream to make it kind of like the leaf, but for Souris, it would be like a mini leaf. So we would have, a few nice fruit trees that were of a dwarf
Yes.
variety. It's only about a 12-foot tall ceiling.
Okay.
And then some raised beds, and even in the winter we could have fresh spinach and fresh
Oh,
lettuce.
wow. Wouldn't
and
that be amazing?
peas and yeah.
Last year, again, generous, dropping food off outside the hotel for people to access. I know you'd taken some down to the food bank, and I remember working there and saying to, help yourself to these garden potatoes and tomatoes, and they were just ecstatic to have that. They knew where it came from and just how delicious it was going to be.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Something that really stuck out for me last year was there was this absolutely adorable little girl, and she put the strawberry in her face, and she was like, "The strawberry tastes so strawberry," and I was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it does."
Yes.
And in terms of the food bank, that's the thing. Like when last year we had a great harvest, like with that manure and everything, there was plenty.
Yes.
There was plenty. Like we had people come in to clean up the tomatoes.
Yep.
And we had already picked and taken like 50 pounds to the food bank. All our
Wow.
volunteers left with big crates. And even after all of that, there were still some left.
Isn't
like
that
we
something
had
amazing?
a huge bumper crop, probably hundreds of pounds of food. The cucumbers, same thing. We were pulling out big roasters, and that's why the grocery thing makes me so mad, is because we can do lots.
We can do it.
And there's plenty for everyone if we work together. It sounds so corny, but it's so true.
But it's true. Yes.
So
Many hands make light work.
the free
right?
for harvest side, there are two 20 by 30 foot plots.
Okay. Wow. Oh, exciting. You make me excited just to think about it. And I don't have a plot, but I may have to just be coming
Sure you
down
do.
there
The
to...
Free for Harvest community
Well,
plot. It
that's true.
belongs to all of
Yes,
Souris.
that's true. I can come down and do some weeding and then maybe sneak back sometime and get some tomatoes.
Well, that's the nice thing is, and that's part of our mission of keeping it accessible, is that lots of people are like, I travel for 2 weeks in the summer, I can't have a garden. But
Right.
you can come for a bit in June, you
Yep.
can come for a bit in August.
Yep.
You can, pop in on a Thursday night, you can come on a Saturday morning, whatever works for you.
Yes.
And that signage is going to be really key. Last year, we did have some watermelon napping that was very unfortunate.
Oh,
And we're hoping that was because of poor signage. We're gonna give the watermelon napper the benefit of the doubt, whoever they may be, and we're gonna have better signage about what's a member plot,
Yes.
what's free for harvest, how to water, how to there's a lot, and they look really trick. Amy Lease was in charge of our sign
Okay,
mission,
yep.
and she did an excellent job.
oh, awesome. Oh, good.
We look like a real organization now. There's like a sandwich board, and there's all
You're
there's
doing
all kinds
such
of
a
stuff.
great job, you and your crew.
Thank you. I'm quite I'm impressed with Souris. I'm impressed with this team. I think that I've lived in different places and tried to get stuff like this off the ground. And the support from town council just can't be underestimated. The actual land that we're operating on, they still haven't asked us for a dime.
Right.
They haven't balked at anything I've wanted to do. They've just kind of turned me loose and said,
Yes, go for
nuts."
it. Yeah.
And I really value that. If you're willing to put in the work, people are willing to give you the resources
Absolutely.
here. So,
The space is inviting, just, not necessarily just the gardens, but you've done a lot of work, just cleaning out the tree areas. There's some benches down there, a huge sand pile with lots of toys, I noticed.
Yep.
You've hosted different little events down there. You talked about your stone soup.
The stone soup was so much fun.
Yes,
That's going to be
yeah.
a recurring event. The premise of the stone soup, for those who don't know, is a man walks into a village and everyone's hungry and everyone's kind of hoarding their resources and he puts stones in a pot and he says, oh, this is great. If only I had one onion. And someone says, well, I can spare one onion. And next, this is perfect. But, this stone soup would be really good if it just had a little bit of carrot. And they go around and eventually, of course, it's
Yes.
this amazing thing.
Yes.
So last year in September, it was actually my birthday. It was a great birthday party. James, one of my neighbors, showed up with an accordion, and we had a great little jam session, and we
sounds
had
fun.
hammocks set up. We definitely want to do it again, and the soup was legitimately so good.
Well, good
It
to
was
know.
so good. I was expecting it to be, just kind of a mix of bland vegetables,
Yeah.
but I think because it was so immediately fresh,
Yeah, wow.
it was insane. We cheated and we used some salt and pepper, but
I guess
everything
that's
else,
allowed.
everything else was just directly from the garden.
Ah, wonderful.
And it was really great.
So remind us again, Thursday nights.
Thursday nights at 6:30. Every Thursday night, if it's like thundering out, we won't. We actually left this work party because of
Okay.
thunder. So they were like, we can stay. And I was like, I don't think I should be asking volunteers to stay when I can
Yes.
see thunder
Yes.
and lightning approaching. But yeah,
So
every
yeah,
Thursday
that's
night.
just to clean, weed and get the gardens ready and...
Last year, one of our biggest challenges, or one of my biggest challenges, was maintaining the actual grounds.
Okay.
So, cutting the grass.
Yes.
And that was a huge thing.
Oh, goodness, yes.
That was really tough to manage. The ground is super uneven. I have plans for that, but it's an additional challenge, not just
Right.
getting down there with a mower, but dealing with these huge dips from the old tree nursery,
Yes.
right, where they took the trees. And so there's a lot of work to be done yet to make it like the park that I envision in my head, but it's coming.
Good.
It's
good.
really coming.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
And Phil Dick and his grade 8s have agreed to build us a couple more raised beds.
Okay.
So next year we'll have more raised beds available.
Right.
I'm not panicking to try and get them ready for this season because everyone who applied got one.
Yeah, that's right.
But I want that for the future and having ones, and maybe people will be able to sponsor them. Maybe we'll have more members. We have a really good bunch of enthusiastic members. We've got a really good mix of new gardeners versus senior gardeners.
Yeah, what a great place to learn about.
I'm really excited about it. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
I know where the gardens are, and I refer to it as Frog's Hollow.
Yeah.
Is that the best direction, or what? How kind of directions could we give somebody to get to the gardens?
At the top of the hill, there's going to be a sign that says Community Garden with with an arrow. So I always tell people that 5th Street and 5th Ave at the bottom of the hill near the creek.
Okay. I think they could find it.
So Yeah, or if you know where Jim Ludlam lives,
It's just down the hill.
drive past, go down the hill from Jim's. Yeah.
Oh,
and,
good.
It's nice and private, and because it was that former tree nursery and they were so loved by Bill Tongay, there's shade, there's a place to throw up a hammock.
Yes.
It's really, really lovely. I love spending lots of
When
time
you
there.
were showing me the other day, like all the walnuts trees that were down there, and I was looking at you probably like how I'm looking at you right now, walnuts, but yeah, walnuts.
So that's one of the reasons that I can't thank the town enough, because it's north protected and because it has that south bank and it's in
Okay.
a bit of a valley.
Yes.
There's almost like a microclimate of a better growing zone.
Okay.
So walnuts are not supposed to be able to fruit in southern Manitoba. Like walnuts are supposed to be like a South Dakota
Right.
starting
Right.
thing. But because it's this perfect little haven,
Isn't that
we have
something?
fruiting black walnuts, and last season I collected a whole big bushel of them.
That's amazing. Really neat.
So I'd really like to work with the daycare, because we made maple syrup, right? And then so I have these walnuts from last year.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I'd love to do maple
coming.
walnut
I'm
ice cream.
coming to this maple walnut ice
We'd
cream.
love to like go to a farm and like we won't take the milk right from the farm, but we'll like show them where milk comes from and how you make ice cream and
the whole bit.
yeah, I'd
I know,
really like to do that.
incredible for these young children to learn that kind of thing, because where will they learn that? Unless they might be growing up on a farm
Yeah.
or know somebody, right?
Even when we were doing the maple tapping, we did like a treasure hunt, and we were trying to find different kinds of leaves, and we talked about how you can tell what family a tree is in by its leaf shape and stuff, and they all knew the maple leaf because of the Canadian flag.
Yes.
And so I was talking about why it's very patriotic that we're making maple syrup, and they were very excited. They had lots of questions. It was
Of course.
wonderful.
Yes. Remind us again what time the plant swap is at.
Oh, 2 p.m. Starting at 2 p.m., May 10th at the library. You can bring cuttings, you can bring small plants, you can bring, the cuttings don't even have to be rooted. You can bring big plants,
Okay.
whatever.
And if someone didn't have a plant, but just wanted to come and check it out, that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. There's a good chance, like every time I've run this in Portage, there have always been extra. And then they're kind of like distributed between the library and whoever wants to take home extra.
Yeah.
'Cause inevitably someone shows up with like 30 spider plants.
Yeah, it's time to get rid of these.
Yeah. But I've got a really good mix of plants that are coming. I've got some
awesome.
some different varieties of pothos I want, and I'm looking out for some different things.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Yeah, what a good way to learn from others even about the houseplants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been pretty obsessed with my houseplants. That was my COVID addiction.
Okay.
Was I got really intense about all my houseplants. So yeah.
Well, when you're stuck at home,
Yeah.
not much to do, right? I can see.
Yeah.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
Anytime, there's upcoming things that you want to share with the community, we'd be happy to have you come join us again. So all the best in the garden season.
Yes, and again, we're gonna be planting once the fence is up. So keep an eye on our Facebook page. We'd love for you to join us. You don't even have to help. We just love having people down there.
Of course.
I obviously love chit chatting about gardens. I'll do it to whoever asks for as long as they'll let me.
Are a
So-
wealth of knowledge.
Thank you very much for having me, Jackie.
Oh, always a pleasure. This has been Spotlight on Souris for Thursday, May the 8th, 2025.